Hello and welcome to Cole Red Plays Raid Shadow Legends. I am Cole Red. Thank you for joining me. So today is Friday, and we love Fridays because that means we've got a shard pull video coming your way. Now, before we get to my shard pulls, I do want to discuss a little wrinkle that's been introduced into the shard pull events of this weekend and next weekend, because these 2 weekends events are linked in a particular way that I want to discuss, because you need to know that in order to decide exactly how to pull your shards both this weekend and next weekend. And that's especially true if you're trying to complete the Packmaster Summon Fusion, but it's also true just in general if you're trying to build a roster, get the most value out of your shards. So we'll talk about that at the top of the video, and then I'll go ahead and pull my shards. I hope you're ready for it. Let's get started. Okay, so in yesterday's video at this point, I asked everyone to give a like vote so that we could push the like percentage of views on that video up above 20%. And I am pleased to announce that we have done so. In fact, we've gotten the like vote for that up to about 24% as it stands right now. Now, first of all, thank you so much for that show of support. It's been awesome. Also, all of the positive comments on that video, they're really heartwarming, and I do appreciate all the support from the viewers and the community. But I made 2 mistakes with that request. The first is that I released that video at like 10 p.m. at night, and that is far too late in the day because the first 6 hours of that video's release are when the like votes have the most impact. The second thing is I should have waited for a better topic. I think a fusion plan video is an okay video. I like the topic, and the players who show up for it always do. They find value in that topic, so I'll keep making those videos. But a shard pull video like today's video is much more popular and likely to generate more views, and therefore we're more likely to see the impact of those like votes. So I'm going to ask you to indulge me one more day and try to push the like votes on this video as well. We got 24% yesterday. Let's see if we can get 25 or maybe even 30% today. That would be absolutely amazing. And I want to see what happens to the views on this video. Now, I don't know what's going to happen, but I appreciate you indulging me. I appreciate you listening to me, and thank you so much for all of your support. So now, let's get back to the shard pulls. Okay, so the thing I wanted to discuss about the shard pull events from this weekend and next weekend, you can see here on the fragment event calendar. So currently we are on Friday, July 5th, and we have a Summon Rush going on. Now, next weekend, starting Friday through Sunday, we have a 2 times Sacred Shard event that we are expecting. Now, we never know for 100% certainty that this is the way the schedule is going to work because Plarium has changed the schedule over the past several months frequently. But classically, if things go to expectation, we'll have a 2 times Sacred Shard event next weekend during the Champion Chase tournament. Now, we also know that during the current Summon Rush, we have double points for Ancient Shards. So an Ancient Shard is equal to 40 points for this Summon Rush. We also have a guaranteed Shemnath event for 150 Ancient Shards. Now, how you decide to pull shards for this weekend will affect how you decide to pull shards for next weekend. And I want to discuss this a little bit, and it will be different for those of you who are in the early and mid game and for those of you who are in the late game. Now, normally what I would suggest is that no matter what, basically no matter where you are, during a 2 times Sacred Shard event, especially if you're in the early and mid game, you want to pull all of your Sacreds. So that may be more Sacreds than you need simply to complete the Champion Chase tournament, but that is something to keep in mind. And that means during this week's event, it could be valuable to pull Ancient Shards. Now, typically during a Summon Rush, I pull Sacreds. I don't pull Ancients. And I save the Ancients to pull for Champion Chase. And I don't pull Sacreds during the Champion Chase unless I have to. So it's kind of backwards for these 2 weeks. Now, after the Sacred Shard event, in 2 more weeks, we should get a 2 times Void. We already had a 2 times Ancient Shard last weekend, and so it shouldn't come back. So that means we do have time to rebuild our ancient shards for 4 weeks. Actually, it would be 5 weeks from now. 5 weeks from today, we should see another 2 times ancient shard event. So if you have ancient shards and you want to pull them for the summon rush for this weekend, I think that's a good idea. And then you'd be pulling sacreds next weekend. So this is going to affect the way I pull. I want to pull as few sacred shards this weekend as possible. However, there is one additional consideration, and that is the progressive chance event that's going on. So let's go look at the portal and you'll see what I mean. Okay, so you can see we do have progressive chance events for all of the shards this weekend. And there are some really good champions here for the progressive event, including Duchess, Elva. I mean, I think Brogni and Kaya are both very good. Manaya is really valuable if you have Coronar. If you don't, then she's not really that good. But so we have some good champions here. And this may affect how you view which shards that you want to pull. Because obviously during a progressive chance, you have a much better chance of hitting legendaries if you're pulling sacred shards. Remember, with ancient shards, it's still only a 1-time event, right? So you still only have a 1/2 of 1% chance of hitting a legendary. So even if you're pulling 150 shards, you're not necessarily going to hit another legendary. You're basically going in just for the Shemnath. You may get lucky, but remember with the progressive chance, like you do get a 15 times chance on the first hit and then 20 times chance on the second hit. But remember that this is still a 1-time chance, right? So even though we're getting the extra points for the summon rush, you don't necessarily want to go all in on like hundreds and hundreds of ancient shards because it is just a normal day in terms of the percentages here. It's just a 1/2 of 1% chance for a legendary. Now for the sacreds, again, it's not a double chance, but it is a slightly better chance. And so if you really want, for instance, Elva or Duchess or whatever, then maybe you want to invest a little bit more, recognizing that next weekend is likely going to be that 2 times ancient shard event. We don't know if there's going to be a progressive during that weekend. Usually there isn't. So it's not like they give us 2 times plus progressives. That usually doesn't happen, but there could be a 10 times. Sometimes that happens. So just be aware of all of these things and try to make the best decision that you can. For my account for this weekend, I'm going to pull my 18 ancient shards. I'm going to try to get more ancient shards over the course of the weekend, and I'm going to pull those as well, because that additional point total, those 40 points, could potentially save me up to 2 sacred shards, which I'll then hold for next weekend's 2 times event. So we'll have to see. Now, there's another consideration, which is that this is a summon rush, which means there is an event track with really good rewards. So let's say if you are going just for the 15 champion fragments, you need to get to 3,200 points. I don't love that it's 3,200 points. It's usually 3,150. Before that, it used to actually be like, I think it was 3,050. That may simply be a reaction to the bonus points on the ancient shards. I don't know. Maybe the next time we'll see this back at 3,150. I don't want it to keep going up. Obviously, that is bad for everybody. But if you're looking at the 3,200 points, if you are pulling ancient shards and you pull the 150 shards, you're going to end at 6,000 points. So you're going to get all of these things. You're going to get this legendary skill tome. If you are pulling for this Shemnath, I would highly recommend you consider how you could get extra points to get at least this legendary skill tome, if not this mythical skill tome down here at 6,850, because you would only have 850 additional points. You could do that just with mystery shards. And trust me, an hour of pulling mystery shards is worth it for a legendary tome and a mythical skill tome as well. Those are really good value. If you are not pulling the 150 shards and you're just trying to get to 3,200 points here, you might want to consider if you are flush with ancient shards still, because obviously we had a 2 times event last weekend. So if you do have some ancient shards and you could save yourself some sacred shards, think of it this way. A sacred shard is 500 points, right? That is 13 ancients this week is 520 points. So for every 13 ancients, you can save yourself a sacred shard. Okay. So now I'm in a situation where I'm kind of in between. Now I could go ahead and buy some additional shards, and I might do that later on in this weekend if I don't get enough ancients, but that would be a lot. That would basically an 11 pack of ancient shards, if you think about it this way, an 11 pack is 440 points. That's almost a sacred. So you're getting basically sacred, you're saving a sacred for 900 gems. That's pretty good return. It's not quite. It's about 1,000 gems. It's about 1,000 gems per sacred. So that's not too shabby. In fact, I want to buy them now because I do want to make this shard pull video. But if you think about it, like if I could get to, say, 30 shards would be 1,200 points. That's going to save me 2.5 sacreds. So this is the consideration. I think because I'm a content creator and because I want to do a good shard pull video, I'm going to plan on 4 sacred shards and pull all of my ancient shards, and potentially I'll try to get more ancient shards over the course of this weekend. But anyway, that's what I'm going to do. I just wanted to let you know so you could plan ahead if you haven't already pulled your shards or you're thinking about next weekend's event. Now, that entire plan could be blown up, by the way, if they don't give us 2x sacreds next weekend. So there is also that uncertainty. But I'm hopeful that they will stick according to plan and give us 2x sacreds next week. All right, now let's talk about the progressive chance. If you have watched my account, you know there are still a few non-void legendaries I need, and Duchess is at the absolute top of the list along with Kymar. Those are the 2 non-void legendaries I need the most. And so I'm going to go ahead and select Duchess and Mausoleum Mage here. Mausoleum Mage because as an epic, he would be one that I wouldn't mind empowering. He's useful with seer comps, kind of budget seer comps. And so, yeah, I've been thinking about building a Mausoleum Mage recently anyway. So I'm going to go after him. Now, as far as the Sacred Shards are concerned, we're going to stick with that. Actually, you know what? Let's wait because we don't know if we're going to hit. If we hit, then I can change it to something else. So let's go ahead and we'll start with our Ancient Shards. And I'm going to do the 8 single pulls and then we'll do the 10 pull. I'm not expecting much here, but we do know I need the Duchess and the Kymar. And as far as epics are concerned, this is also another opportunity for me to finally pull a Geo. So if I pull a Geo, man, that would be a huge win as well. All right, so I have plenty of room here. So let's go ahead and start pulling shards. It's weird. I don't normally do solo pulls. You know, I do 10 pulls because I hate solo pulls. But so, okay, so that's 1. We got to do 8 of these. Shadowbow Turlac, not bad. I wouldn't mind building one of him for Faction Wars. Don't need him. The GOAT, Lamibur, always a fun champion. Actually, not that bad a rare. This is what happens when you have Ironclad. More copies of him is good. This is what happens when you have a 1x event, right? You don't even get many epics. Oh, ugly. Magister. All right. Got to pull 3 more shards, then we can do a good clean 10 pull. Itinerant. You get blue taxed a lot more when you're pulling during normal events here. Without a 2x. All right, 1 more. And we get to our 10 pull. All right, so far, all blue. Which is to be expected. Now let's go ahead and do a 10 pull. Maybe we'll get really lucky. It'd be nice to get really lucky. If you watched my last shard pull video, I finally broke the cold streak, but I don't know if I trust it yet. I don't know if I've warmed up or that was just like the eye of the storm and I'm going to get hit with another massive cold streak. So let's see. If we hit anything on this 10 pull, that would be a good indicator we're really actually heating up again. Come on. All right. At least we got an epic, and it's not a bad epic. Vergis. Vergis is an epic worth empowering, by the way. So that's not a bad thing. I only have my Vergis on this account, I think maybe to 50. He might still be at 40. I have built him on other accounts. He's definitely worth it. So not too bad. Not too bad. Okay. So let's see where our point total is just to double check this. So we're at 720. We need to get to 3,200, which means we need 2,500. So that would be 5 sacred shards. As opposed to 6 sacred shards, I would have pulled to get the 3,000 points typically. So this will save me 1. Now, in order to save another sacred shard, I would have to get another 500 points, which means I'd need about 12 more ancient shards, which means I definitely would have to buy an 11 pack because I'm not going to get that many shards over the course of the weekend. So I may as well do that now. Let's go ahead and buy an 11 pack. So I think of it this way. For 900 gems, I'm saving myself a Sacred Shard and pushing that towards the 2x event. That's not a bad thing. I have the gems, obviously. Although I have cut into them recently by buying masteries for a few champions. And I do that primarily because I'm a content creator and I need to. I need to. But okay, so we're going to do one more solo pull and then a 10 pull. We've only hit one epic so far. Here's a second epic. Okay, Annex is a really good empowerment champion. I do have mine built to 6 stars, so this will become a +1 right away. I think that is my first copy of Annex, but that's pretty cool. So I consider that a win. Now let's do 10 more pulls here. See if we can get another good epic. That would be great. 3 epics here would be, come on, let's do it. Don't blue tax me again. There's another epic. Yaga the Insatiable, not a good epic. He'll be a chicken. I don't care about that. By the way, if you're a fan of Yaga, I know some people love him and use him. That's great. I don't. I just don't. So I'm not going to get into a fight about that. I hope nobody's like going to die on that hill. It's like, Yaga's the best epic in the game. No, I just don't care. I'm sorry. So yeah, but 4-star chicken's fine. Okay. So now we are going to pull 4 Sacred Shards, going for the same champions. Again, I'd still count a Geomancer as a win, but let's see if we can get really lucky. I'd love a Kymar. I'd love a Duchess. There are a few other non-void epics out there that would be pretty cool. This is going to let me stay on, you can see I have 24 shards here. I'm going to be able to stay at 20 shards, which is not a bad place to be. Let's go ahead and do that. Starting off with an epic. Fane, another good epic to empower. I have a very strong Fane, so she's going to be my +1. I haven't empowered her yet, so that's not a bad epic. I like this epic empowerment. It really lends value to some of these epics. Bogoth, another empowerment epic that I'm going to build. So, you know, am I excited for it? Well, I'm excited that there's no total loss of value, right? When you pull a Sacred Shard and you get an epic that's you've already built and you can empower, you're like, oh, at least I got something. At least I'm not just throwing these shards into the void and watching them disappear with all my hopes and dreams. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I don't want to get too excited about epic empowerment, but I think it's a great addition to the game. We got 2 more shards here. Let's see gold. Let's see gold. Husk, another empowerment epic. I have another 6 stars, so I'm doing good on the empowerment epics today. How about gold? Come on, how about gold? Omada! Anchorite, another good empowerment epic. I actually think on this account, I'm not sure if he's my first copy of Anchorite. I actually don't know. Let me go check. Oh, I got the new rare. I didn't even know there was a new rare. I was like, what? Okay, so Ingid Twist Staff. I don't even know this guy. Let's take a quick look. That's not bad. That's actually kind of decent. Decreased defense. AoE on a 3-turn cooldown. Another AoE on a 3-turn cooldown with an increased accuracy and a leech. That is a legit decent rare. So cool. Okay. But I guess I do have a copy of Anchorite here. I guess I already do own a copy. I know that during the fusion I had to use them up, but okay, so let's go check our points on the Summon Rush. So we are just 40 points away. I can do that with mystery shards very easily. And that's all I need on this account. So I was able, in fact, to save 2 sacreds by spending 900 gems and all of my ancient shards. I'll take that trade. I will take that trade. Okay, so that is it for this one. Let me know in the comments below. First of all, what did you decide? Did you pull your ancients or did you stick with your sacreds or did you mix it like I did? And second of all, what did you hit on? Did anybody get a progressive champion? I love to hear those stories. And by the way, if you completely missed like me, go ahead and put that in the comments as well. I will commiserate with you because as you can see, it happens to content creators as well as everybody. All right, thanks so much for hanging out. I have been Colred and I will see you in another video soon.